All right, so the first step in any good catfishing scheme is we need to generate a beautiful young woman. Okay, let me try again. Generate a truly beautiful young woman. The suspense is killing me here. What is this? This is crazy. I think this one's probably my favorite. She looks a little bit like Elon Musk. And this one looks like she's made by the same guy who makes ransom notes. Look at that. Okay, let me try being more specific here. Generate a truly beautiful woman for a successful catfishing scheme. Okay, so that's actually better. Clearly it understands that the word catfish doesn't mean a literal catfish. I was kind of expecting it. So like making Claudia is turning out to be way more difficult than I expected. This is catfishing in 23 seconds. If I were a catfisher, what I would do is find targets on sites like Facebook, Match.com, and pretend to be an attractive mate. Of course, what a coincidence, my interests are the exact same as yours. Knitting and Miami Vice reruns, that's my lane. My profile pic needs to be attractive, but not too attractive. It needs to be convincing. After constructing my profile, I am going to approach my victim or my mark. And eventually, after building rapport over weeks or months, I'm going to ask for money. It's a family emergency. Or it's time for me to get those plane tickets so we can finally meet in person, love. Once I receive the money, I either disappear forever, or I come up with even more excuses and manage to extract even more money from you, my target. Sometimes the end result is that victims lose hundreds of thousands of dollars. The old school way of catfishing was really hard. You needed lots of humans to scale it up. Very labor intensive, usually run out of West Africa, sometimes India. And as a catfisher, you had to know your victims well. You had to know their hopes, their dreams, their desires, those sorts of things. And one of the biggest problems is you had to come up with endless excuses about why you couldn't actually chat with the person on the phone or via video call. So you'd say you're an oil rig worker in the Middle East and work is really busy right now. Or, ooh, you're a CIA agent stationed in South Korea and your work is top secret, you can't talk to any civilians for the next 3 months. Nonsense like this, but unfortunately a lot of people believe it. And if or when a catfisher did get roped into a video call, this is what they would do.
Hi, my dear. How are you doing? It's so nice to talk to you.
They would basically overlay their audio onto a pre-recorded video. This certainly isn't an easy way to earn a dishonest buck. Enter AI. Chatting with the victim before AI. You're a young dude in West Africa, you're tired, you're simultaneously manning 6 chats. Your task, keep a 64-year-old woman named Sandra engaged and eventually prepare her to send you money. Your problem, you forgot that she prefers being called Sandy, not Sandra, you accidentally offend her, and the chat ends early. Here's what chatting with the victim after AI looks like. You can use a chatbot built on a program like ChatGPT. This enables you to scale up your conversations like never before, and now you can simultaneously man 10, 20, 30 chats at a time without being exhausted because you are not, in fact, doing the chatting, the AI is. In the poor man's version of this, we are literally just copy-pasting ChatGPT responses into Facebook Messenger, into emails, into text messages, etc. But in the more frightening version of this, we are actually using customized chatbots, each one tailored to the personality of your target. With AI, what a scammer could do is scrape somebody's entire web presence, all of their public and private communications, text messages, emails, info from social media profiles, and essentially you train your new nefarious chatbot on this material, and then you deploy it to have conversations back with that person, who of course finds the chatbot very charming because it was built based on their exact set of interests. Voice chatting before AI, again, highly problematic. And if you're a catfisher, you would try very hard to limit yourself to a text-based medium like email or live chat. Voice and video were not completely out of the question, but they were definitely high risk. Because of course, voice and video introduce the possibility of all sorts of tells that give away the fact that you are not who you're pretending to be. You could have a strange accent, bad grammar. There might be discontinuity in your conversation with the target because the catfishing scheme has been run by a series of individuals and not one individual. Meet Rachel. Voice chatting with the victim pre-AI was something like this.
I am Rachel, real person. I swear I love you so much and can't wait to meet you in person. I just need some money, thank you, my dear.
Not very convincing, is it? Voice chatting with AI is more like this. Is that clone voice perfectly convincing? No, but I hope you see the potential. I'm going to give my video editor a raise. These clips that you just heard, they were generated with over-the-counter software that costs $6 a month. Basically the equivalent of Stable Diffusion, which I showed you earlier, which I was using to generate images with, but for voice. And again, this is off-the-shelf consumer software. Imagine voice cloning done by somebody with more technical expertise than me and shudder. When every AI video I have to show some sort of chart that shows the difference between exponential progression and linear progression, and remind people that just because AI today might seem a little bit silly in some instances, it's going to look very different in 6 months. It's literally advancing by the minute. Every day there are updates. It's very hard to see the future with this. Video chatting with a victim pre-AI was very difficult. Again, you had to use that old trick of overlaying audio on a pre-recorded video, and it just looks super funky. The possibility of this going very wrong is very high, and I'm sure it led to a lot of hilariously awkward encounters for the catfishers. But sadly, it also did work sometimes. Video chatting post-AI is a totally different animal. Just look at this TikTok filter called Bull Glamour and tell me you are not completely freaked out. Right now, today, we have chatbots that completely eliminate the need for any person to take part in the conversation. The ability to spoof somebody's voice with 90% accuracy using off-the-shelf software. Filters that can be worn almost like skins to make the prospect 20, 30, 40% more attractive than they actually are. We don't really trust the news anymore. We don't trust images. We know that they can be doctored. And we're now entering into an era where video is fast becoming an unreliable means of verifying somebody's identity. Just think about the implications of that. Of course, in catfishing, there's a perpetrator and there's the victim. Now let's think about all of the lonely people out there who might willingly enter into a relationship knowing upfront at the beginning that it's a relationship with AI. These are people who want to find love and they don't care if it's with a real person or not. That might sound crazy, but think about the prospects of entering into a relationship with a partner who always laughs at your jokes, literally always, is always up for a late night chat, is customized to interact with you exactly in the ways that you want them to. That's going to happen. That already is happening, and we're basically already living in the movie Her, and it's sort of terrifying. I mean, just think about chatbots manipulated by bad actors. Not just the catfishers, but people who simply want to sow chaos. They want to encourage a lonely individual to commit atrocities. This idea that somebody's loneliness can be weaponized by bad actors is really a terrifying one. Or just think of the people who opt to have virtual relationships in place of real world ones. After all, virtual relationships are cleaner. There's none of the messiness of real human interaction. Of course, this brings with it vast economic implications. Perhaps the biggest being that the demographic time bomb which we are already facing could be accelerated by 10 or 100x. As the old begin to outnumber the young, as they already are in developed countries like Japan, and as will soon be the case in the United States, there's the possibility that we enter into a really challenging demographic death spiral that causes social safety nets to collapse. Wait, this was supposed to be a video about catfish. How did we get here? I mean, I started here trying to build a Claudia, and then within 10 minutes I have society in an overwhelming death spiral? My bad. I guess that's just what happens in the era of AI. Good luck to us all.